Good morning, friends and family of Christ Church. This is David Donathan, the minister of music here at the church. And as you can see, I am standing in what we call the Potter Room Courtyard. This is a beautiful place, especially on a beautiful day like today, that is named in memory of Truman Potter. Now, Truman Potter was the minister here at Christ Church in the early 1960s and clear into the 1970s. And he was the minister who was influential in rebuilding the church after the church fire of July 19th, 1969. And so this courtyard and the room that is just off this courtyard is named in his memory. But today is April 22nd, and today is also Earth Day. So I thought it would be really fun to celebrate Earth Day from the top of the bell tower. Now, this is a space that people can't normally get into, but it is such a beautiful day. I thought today would be the perfect place to do that. But before we climb to the top of the tower, I want to share a little bit about one of the dreams we have for the Potter Room Courtyard. Several years ago, when we were preparing to do our building renovation, some of the staff members traveled to Tennessee to visit some churches to see what kind of building they did and what kind of ideas we could take back for our own building renovation. So at that time, we visited a church that had a glass-covered atrium over top of one of their courtyards. So tell us, how cool would it be to enclose the Potter Room Courtyard and make it a glass-covered atrium? Would this not be the perfect place for that? It's one of our long-range dreams for this space, to enclose this garden and make it a glass-covered atrium. Now, most of you probably know this, but our bell tower was patterned after the Magdalen College Tower in Oxford, England. If you look at those two towers, ours and that one side by side, you can see that there are many, many similarities. And this was a common design used in church bell towers around the beginning of the 20th century when the church that used to stand here was built. Now, as you can see from standing here, this is where the bell tower used to attach to the old building. You see the door that's there at the bottom that goes into our columbarium, and the stained glass window that's above that, that marks the entrance door to the old church. There was a flight of stairs that came up here from Quarrier Street, and that door was one of the ways that you could get into the sanctuary. That upper window marks the door where you would enter the church, go up the staircase, and go into the balcony of the old church. Now, the bell tower was found to be on its own 3-foot foundation, sitting on solid rock, so the determination was made to save the bell tower and have it be a freestanding structure. So that today is why we have the remnants of the building that burned in 1969. As you can see, I'm now inside the columbarium, which is inside the bottom of the bell tower here at Christ Church. These beautiful stained glass windows were installed in 1979 as part of this space's renovation, and they're of pomegranate trees. The pomegranate, of course, being a significant Christian symbol. But over here on this wall is where we have our columbarium, the niches where people's ashes are placed if they choose to be cremated when they passed away. Now our adventure to climb to the top of the bell tower begins here, because the only way to access it from here so far is this ladder here in the corner. All right, now I am in the ceiling above the chapel where the columbarium was. And as you can see, this is just basically an attic space. there's nothing exciting here except these two beautiful stained glass windows that nobody really gets to see anymore. There's one on this wall, and there's one here on this wall. These stained glass windows were installed in 1911 as part of the church's construction, and at nighttime they're lit from the inside, so if you drive by the church you can see them. But nobody really gets to see them from the inside unless you come into this space. Okay, I'm here now in the catwalk area that is above the columbarium roof. And what I find interesting about this place is that you can see where the staircase used to go. This is where the staircase was that led into the balcony of the old church. And although you can't really see it in this picture, maybe a little bit here, this was the color that they were painting the sanctuary when it burned on July 19th, 1969. And as I mentioned downstairs in the courtyard, this is the window where the doorway used to be to go into to the balcony of the church. This right now is just a clear window, but this would make an awesome memorial gift if somebody wanted to give a stained glass window in honor or in memory of a loved one. Now this is where the fun begins. This is why the roof of the bell tower is not really accessible to the congregation, because as you can see, it is a vertical ladder straight up 109 feet. We'll go one level at a time because there's some interesting things as we climb the bell tower. Now I'm here in the first landing of the bell tower. Not a lot to see, but what is historically significant about this space is that the church bell tower used to have a set of tubular chimes in the very top. And this is the room where people would come to play the chimes. Now you can't see them really in this picture, but there are a few holes in the floor, and this is where people would pull ropes that would bring the chimes clear up in the bell tower. This space was accessible by a trap door in the ceiling and a wooden ladder. And so from time to time, people would come into this space to ring the chimes that used to be in the bell tower. I'm now at the second level of the bell tower. And on this level, we have some more stained glass windows. Maybe not quite so easy to see because of the amount of light that's coming into them right now. But here again, these are windows that nobody gets to see anymore because the tower really isn't accessible. Nothing really took place in this space, but this is one room below where the tubular bells used to be when the tower was built in 1911. Okay, as you can see, we're almost to the top. These are the new louvers that were installed in 2013, actually 2011, when we had the bell tower renovated, celebrating its 100th anniversary. These were created by an Amish gentleman up in Ohio, and the workmanship is just beautiful. Now, like I mentioned, this room of the bell tower used to have a set of tubular bells made by the Veridan Company of Cincinnati. Over the years, the system worked, then it didn't work. It would work again, and then it didn't work. And really, from the moment that it was put in 1911, it didn't work very well to begin with. And so, over the years, they tried different means of trying to create bell sounds coming from the tower. So what we've done since 1993 now is simply have a digital system. So the bell sounds that you hear coming from the bell tower actually emanate from these 4 speakers, and they come from a system that's downstairs off the sanctuary. Technology has come so far, that even electronic sounds sound a lot like real bells. We're almost there. One more short distance and we'll be on the roof. A little point of interest on the way to the roof, and I'd never noticed this before. Burn marks in the bell tower, just above the tracery, showing damage from the fire of 1969. Okay, friends, we made it to the top, and as you can see, there goes a train along the Kanawha River. It's a beautiful view up here. A little bit of history. In 1970, this particular parapet on the tower was struck by lightning, and the finial on the top was destroyed and it fell to the ground. So the trustees made the decision to remove the other 3 and install a big brown lightning rod on the top of the tower to protect it. And I'm standing on that superstructure. As part of the renovation in 2013, that lightning rod was removed. The 4 decorative pinnacles were carved and proper lightning arresters were installed. So we now have the tower here at the very top exactly the way it was intended to be when it was built in 1911. Now I'm just going to stand here and take the camera all the way around in a 360-degree circle and just kind of let you take in the view. This is looking toward the Capitol. We come around to the south. Then we look west toward downtown Charleston. Then we come around and we look north, and there we see the tower after the Baptist Temple, which is patterned after St. Martin's in the Field in London. And then this is looking north again. Folliot-Pierpont wrote the hymn "For the Beauty of the Earth" in 1864 while he sat on a hillside overlooking Bath, England. The beauty of the city and the surrounding countryside was what inspired him to write one of our most favorite hymns. So as I'm standing up here on this Earth Day, I thought it would be appropriate to just speak the first verse of that hymn. For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Lord of all, to Thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. As I finish this devotion, the bells at the Catholic Church have begun to ring. And there goes our carillon ringing 12 o'clock. I hope all of you have a blessed Earth Day. Try to get outside on this beautiful day, and may God bless each and every one of you.